Well, welcome back to another Sunday night with Kentucky Flyer 55. And unlike the rest of the planet, I'm still flying Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. It's stable, it works, and after 4 years, I finally know what to expect from it. So any errors are mine. Besides, I can't get my 2024 to even work. It wants to work. I can load, install, get everything running, and then their camera options just totally defeat me. And I can't fly without being able to look out the window. So, in the meantime, until they either fix it or decide they're just going to leave some of us out, we'll stay back here with 2020. Like I said, it works, and I can fly the aircraft I want in here anyway. Well, tonight's aircraft, of course, the Got Friends F4F Grumman Wildcat. We're in the familiar territory. We are at Alpha Golf Hotel, which at one point, before everything got a little crazy in the world, this place used to be known as Henderson Field. And a lot of stuff happened here. Today, we're just going to try to figure out how to get started, taxi out, and do a quick little patrol up around Savo Island and back here to Henderson. Now, the international airport here's got a new name, but I can't remember it. I'm not that fond of it anyway. I know it. This is Henderson to me, and it always will be. First thing we're going to do is load some extra fuel pods. Okay, we've loaded the auxiliary tanks. I mean to load them. Add some fuel. Fill up the tanks, please. Don't know where we're going. See if we've got how long ago the weather report was filed for here. And it says winds 070 at 6 knots. So wind prefers runway 06. So that is where we will go. So we figure out what 06 is. We should have looked at the map. Little bit more detail. Okay, we are here. The taxiway is there. And then we can depart 06 and head out over the bay. Okay, first we need to configure ourselves for a flight. Let's pull the pins and tell the ground crew to spread the wings out. First they come down. There they go. It gives a nice solid thunk, and I like that. Lets you know that the wings are down. They put the pins back in. Now we need to start our electrics up and get everything ready to take off. Let's get our lights all on first. Okay, that gets those lights on. Recognition lights, check. It's daylight, we won't need it much. How about our gun sight? That'd be handy to have one. Oh, we don't need those switches. Those are for dropping things. Okay, generator on. Master battery on. Here comes the battery. I'll get my cowl flaps open here. Cowl flaps opening. Say prime pumps there. Okay, magnetos to on to both. Cockpit is open. All we got to do is lean out with yell clear prop and see if we can get a start here. Well, it helps to select the right. Select a tank with fuel in it. How about that? And doofus at work. Now I'll try to start the engine. Actually got fuel. There we go. The only thing holding us down now is, let's see, let's look around here, is our wheel chocks. We'll keep our cockpit open on the ground because it's hot here. Okay, get my carcass situated here. Don't pull that out of your ear. It's not cool. Clear to the left. Clear to the right. Throttle to idle. Take off the brakes. Pull the chocks. Check that the chocks have been pulled. They have. Okay, now let's see if we can actually go anywhere. Power coming in. We're starting to roll a little bit. Hold that left toe brake. Follow the taxi lines around. Nobody else on the taxi line at the moment. Now, let's see. I want to make sure that I'm on the right server. Nope. Okay, that puts us on the right server because we're an idiot and didn't check it beforehand. Continuing our taxi out to the runway here. Manage our throttle here on the ground as we taxi out to the runway. Sit up in our seat a little bit. And here we are at the end of runway 06. Taxiing about. Okay, check our brakes there. Do a mag test. Set our brakes. Bring our power in. It's 1,000 RPM. We need to about 1200. Okay, left magneto. And it drops to about 1175, about 30. That was too much. Get our engine started back up here. Because our fingers slips on our knobs and sets us back too far. Okay, left magneto is good. How about the right magneto? Think we're good there. Yeah, that's a good magneto check. Temperatures are good. The one control I don't have in Microsoft 2024, which is why I uninstalled it. A mouse. I either have too much mouse or not enough mouse. It doesn't have a happy setting. Get our map up here. And of course, it's backwards. Uh-huh. Flight plan. Menu. Invert. Yes. Okay, map. Now it's inverted again. Okay, now everybody wants to yak. Brilliant. Okay, now try and invert. Invert. Waypoint 1, please. That's going the right way. Okay, so let's get ready for takeoff here. Okay, clear to the left, clear to the right. Clear behind us. And back behind us. That first little hill right there, that's Edson's Ridge. Okay, bring our throttles to idle. Release our brakes. Can't be closed. And ready for takeoff here. I guess. Throttle coming in. Bring it in slow. $60 knots. 80. 65. Tails up. 85. 100 knots. Up and airborne. Bring the power in. Reach over. Start cranking up the gear as we turn towards Tulagi. Which is across the bay. Bring in some up trim. Put some down trim, I don't know. More up. Pull our RPMs down to about 2,500. Gaining altitude at a nice 500 feet per minute. We're going to let ourselves climb to about 1,500 feet. We're up here to snoop today and to be bait. I still can't get over just how rugged this island really is. We're now crossing what is commonly known as Iron Bottom Sound because of all the heavy tonnage of ships that are rusting and turning to coral at the bottom of this piece of water. Keep our heading straight here. There's Tulagi. And it wasn't until now Tulagi was a seaplane base, but it wasn't until the construction crews started getting in, started leveling ground back there where the green light is, that the trouble started. Some people up top on the American side decided they didn't want people improving. Oh, yeah. Goodness gracious. Man, all I've wanted to do recently is sleep. Of course, and then I haven't been able to sleep either. So, there. Okay. Trimmer just a little bit more up. Where are we going now? Okay. Actual island of Tulagi is up ahead of us on our course. We're pointed at Florida Island. Okay, there's Tulagi. That little spit of land sticking out at us. Unfold our digital map a little bit, so where we are, which is a handy little thing, especially when you're drifting about over to so much water. There we go. You can see why I'm having so much. I had so much trouble out of 24. I can't even get the cameras to work right for me, and I've done this for 4 years in 2020. And still don't have the cameras perfect. You'd think by now I'd have it smooth. We keep wanting to head into the bay here at Florida Island. There's Tulagi. There's a little island, and then there's Tulagi itself, which is that spittle. That's another island actually, but looks more like a spit of land that sticks out from the main Florida island there. This is what I like about Flight Simulator 2020. To appreciate history, you really have to look at the terrain. And Flight Sim 2020 lets us look at the terrain. Aha! I see a Colonel Fork. Always welcome. Okay, now we head to our next waypoint, which is on the other side of Savo Island up here. We're right at 2,000 feet. I'm going to try to hold that altitude. Our heading's about 283 or so. Looks like we need to be at about 284. There's 287. I still don't think we're right. It was 291. How about that? Look. Yeah, 291 is good. And if we keep going this way, we'll be passing over the scene of one of the last battleship on battleship engagements ever fought in the world. And thank goodness for that. Because when weapons that big go at it toe to toe, there are no winners, really. Although, as far as at the time, the beat down that the USS Washington gave the IJN Kirishima, well, it was total, complete, and very thorough. It was fun. It They said you could see the flashes from the gunfire. Well, let's get outside and look backwards. No, it's over there. Way over there, you could see the flashes. Now, where we go? Get back here. Now, we're just doing strictly hand flying today. No matter how tempting it gets to autopilot this thing today, I've missed flying, so I'm just going to take her by hand here. Watch my instruments. Right at 2,100 feet. Right at 290 or so. Doing 202 ground speed and about 190 indicated. About 33 inches of manifold, 2,500 RPM. Oil and air temperatures are good. It's typical South Seas weather. Spotty clouds. If we hang around long enough today, we'll get a thunderstorm. And, well, with this, the way things are, let's see, it's 2024. Minus 42. Let me see. I can't do it in my head. How about you? Okay, 82 years. Pretty much 82 years today. November 24th. As they would say, the night the Giants rode. One American battleship took on 13 Japanese ships in this bay. Because the American ships that were with the one battleship got pretty much knocked out early. Poor old South Dakota took a beating because, well, her circuit breakers hadn't been tested against the shock of her own recoil. And when she fired, she knocked her own circuit breakers out. It took her out. It took herself out of the fight. She still had power and could steam. She just didn't have any electricity to run the turrets. And the 4 destroyers that were with them got knocked out fairly quick and fairly early. Well, we've crossed north of Savo Island now. Got another couple of minutes to reach our patrol point, then we'll be turning south as we head toward the Lunga Point and the main distribution spot for lots of landings for them other fellas. If it seems like we go on a little bit much about our history, it's because nobody should forget these people and what they did. It's been 82 years, and some of these things will never happen again, and thank goodness for it. But the fact that they did happen and were such exemplary acts needs to be remembered. Okay, we're under 1,700 feet. On up to about 2,000 again. Put in a little bit of rudder. Get us back on course here. And Colonel Forks in a P-40. Looks like he was coming down from the Russell Islands. Thing about the P-40s, they were also a couple of squadrons of those were also eventually stationed at Henderson here. But let's see, in August 20, the first Wildcats arrived. And within a week, the Army Air Corps was bringing in its P-39 Air Cobras, a squadron of P-40s. And for a few weeks, those were about the only fighter aircraft available at Henderson. And then they brought in a couple of the U.S. Navy. Well, they didn't abandon them. They had to leave them behind because their home base got put in a body and fender shop. They were aircraft carrier orphans. Some of them from the Saratoga when she was torpedoed again. Some ships are just magnets for trouble. The Saratoga was one of them. She was built as the sister ship to the USS Lexington. The Saratoga survived the whole war. But bad luck dogged her wherever she went. It became I still think one of the greatest shames ever is the fact that they did not save the USS Enterprise as a museum ship. No ship had more honors or had been in more battles or done more things than the USS Enterprise. Although I used to I did find it highly amusing about the USS Lexington, which was lost in the Coral Sea south of here. Well, before the war, the USS Lexington was powered by oil turbines. And there had been an earthquake or some other natural disaster in the SeaTac area around Seattle. So the U.S. Navy sent the USS Lexington up to that area and plugged her into the power grid. And for several weeks, all the people's power, electrical power, was generated by the USS Lexington, sitting alongside the dock, running her oil turbines, and powering up her generators. We have arrived at our turning point. Now we start to swing ourselves to the south. The next waypoint is Alpha Golf Golf Yankee. I believe that's down in the Russell Islands. That's about another 24-mile leg. And we're at 1950 above ground, above the water. So we can hold what we've got there. A little bit more left rudder. Now, normally we wouldn't use an airplane like the Wildcat as a scout, but sometimes, there were days when the Wildcat was the only thing available that could actually fly. Sometimes it was so bad that all the other aircraft and were damaged to one point or another. All they had was 4 or 5 Wildcats to put in the air at one time. And even those weren't perfectly straight perfectly conditioned. They all needed repair. It's just that the mechanics deemed them flyable. They were just barely that, flyable. The parts didn't fall off. And sometimes that can be a huge benefit. Well, I'm having trouble with the vocal cords today. After we fly over Alpha Golf Golf Yankee, it's back to Henderson. And now Alpha Golf Golf Yankee, it doesn't have the benefits and fine points that most international airports have. I think the one time I've flown up here, it's just a grass strip carved out of the jungle. Well, we picked up more than 6 knots of wind. And we're getting pushed around pretty good up here. Now, if they can ever fix 2024, I'll be happy. Otherwise, it's going to fall into one of those categories like MechWarrior 5. A brilliant game that I can't play because it does not want to play. It does not work well with my computer. So until I can ever get it to a functional condition, this will have to do. And this ain't bad. I really like my 2020. It's just everybody else is switching over to 2024 and I can't. I think after I actually got 2024 installed, I must have spent right off the bat about 8 hours just trying to get the. Every time I'd go into a cockpit view, the free look would point to the ceiling instead of out the window. And even when I managed to make it look out the window, there was no mouse to point. I tried disconnecting all my flight instruments. That didn't help. Okay, coming up on Alpha Golf Golf Yankee, 2 miles. It's up here on this little island. Pretty good sized village there. Okay, there it is. Right under our left wing up here. Nope, not that field. There it is, that little strip out of the jungle. That's where the airport is. Oi. Pass. Bring her around hard left. Let's aim back for Guadalcanal. It's a good thing not to see any little white wakes trailing across the ocean blue. Well, I'm not a silly person. I'm not gonna request my money back from Microsoft or anything like that. I'm just gonna keep it in my pocket in case they decide they want to patch it and make a little bit more sensible running program. Now, for some people, they got it to work just right off the box. I wish I'd have been one of them. What I saw, I liked. It's kind of hard to concentrate on what's outside when you can't get the micro or the camera to hold still. Okay, 45 miles back to Henderson. Some of the most contested terrain and open water in the universe at one point. What's the saying from Los Angeles? Location, location, location. And depending on who wants it, the location can be brutal. All we got to do is remember that the winds were 0.6 back at Henderson. When they converted everything to the international airport here at Henderson, they had 3 airports to choose from. They just chose the one that they liked best, laid some pavement, and did the job there. Oh, terrific. Joy. There, that fixed that. Now we're wandering off course here. Get back to where you're going. There's Skinner Fork, and the other stalwart of the early years of 1942, the P-40. Which was strange for such an underpowered and maligned aircraft. Sir did a lot of work and had a lot of success. Now, if you see a big gorilla running around the island, do not panic. You can see where legends of animals like Kong would come from on these islands. Look at those hills. Those hills goes way up. It looks like there's a lot of water out here in Iron Bottom Sound, but there is not. You can see how close Savo Island is to the northern part of Guadalcanal. This made for the actual shipping lane is very tight in here. This is the direction the South Dakota sailed after her encounter with the Japanese task force. Said, nope, no electricity, no play. I think the legend of the legend of well, Colonel Fork, I think you've done a really good job with that. I'm waiting until after my stream before I mess with dinner. So unless I'm really unlucky, come around the corner and the Keto Butai is sitting here. This should only take another 30 or 40 minutes for the stream. Nice short one tonight. You kind of get my feet back into it. Last week my feet were hurting so bad it was distracting me. I couldn't run my rudder pedals. And when you look to the side here, you can see this is the part of the island where the Japanese would put ashore at, and you can see just how rugged the terrain is for them to get to Hendersonville. And they had to go through the mountains all the way down the island. They couldn't just cross over here on this flat plain and go down. Nope, to keep out of sight of the Marines around Henderson, they had to climb through the mountains. Hey, Colonel Fork, did you get your MS-24 to working good? Like I said, I gave up and uninstalled mine since I couldn't get it to work at all after many hours of trying. I figure it may take 4 years, but I'll eventually get it to working right. What I need is a program that will blank out all the camera commands. I don't think it's ready for that yet. Just they pushed it out too soon. Somebody sold George a pig in a poke, and then he got to promising the delivery date. Oh, hold on there, pony. We have to switch tanks here. They pushed 2024 out too soon. It wasn't ready. And now they've got to and setting the controls is the chore. And it shouldn't have been. I thought the control settings when we first got MSFS2020 were bad. At least they worked. And as you've seen from my streams, I still don't have the camera system in 2020 right. But I can fly the airplane. I can't even fly the airplane in 2024 because the controls, the cameras don't work. They don't work as they should. We'll put it as they should. I don't mind setting up controls, but when I can't look out the window ahead, left, and right out of the box is a problem. Now, there's a lot of 2020 stuff that I expect is going to have a lot of problems in 2024. Probably going to have to add files very carefully. Pretty much one at a time, actually, to get and make sure everything is working and not fouling up the system. But if you've got a 24 that works the way it was downloaded, you're still way ahead of the curve. I know we get where we want to install everything at once. Ooh, the Wildcat works. Oh, that sounds awesome. I hope all the flying iron stuff works. And until JoinFS comes out, gets fixed, I won't be flying with people. I'll be stuck back here in the boondocks. I think I told Allison yesterday, this is how it felt when, let's see, we were flying Flight Simulator 2004, also known as FS9, and we were kind of happy with that, doing fairly well, flying our airliners and our everything else, because there was so much freeware. And then FSX came out, and boy was that a boo-boo. And here, 20 years later, they make the same boo-boos. Well, I do hope they work. Just because as many hours of pleasure as I've gotten out of them, if you saw my last photo from up in TTM's photo stream, I enjoyed my 3 favorite bridges up in Edinburgh, Scotland. Stringing together those bridges is fun. And to actually do it in FW190 was even better. I think it was CFS2. Somebody had built a mod. And we were in the middle of a game, and somebody called Broken Arrow over here at Henderson. And the next thing you knew, the magic mushrooms were blooming. And for 2006, I think it was 2000. No, that was 2002. That was a fairly nice effect for a nuclear weapon. Hey, there's the airport. There's runway 06. We're going to cross over and loop around. Yep, them's the guys that are stationed here. Can you speak Kiwi? Oh, yeah. That's beautiful, Colonel Fork. Start drawing the power back. Go to fly up over Edson's Ridge. And also known as Bloody Ridge. That's right up here. It's like, yeah, it got close. Things got very close in this neck of the woods. I'm glad to know that the Wildcat actually works. The GOT friends will be very happy to hear that. Start cranking. Go ahead and drop our flaps too. As we come around here, where's my spot? There it is. Watch your altitude. We're on base. Bring some power back in. We don't want to fall out of the air at this point. And let's turn final. Okay, here's the runway. Bring it around just a little bit more. There you go. Runway lined up. Watch our airspeed and descent rate. Down the rudders. Counteract the wind a little bit. Want to maintain just enough power. Okay, we want to be right at about 100 knots or so, so cross the threshold and on idle. Here we come. Looks good. And cut the throttles. Now, just let her float down. Get on our brakes. Now, one thing about Fort Henderson is they're not up to date with taxiways and such, so you just gotta either back taxi or ride in the grass. Clear the runway here. Get out the grass. Start our taxiway back to the base. Colonel Fork has already made it. Joint FS is going to be fun when they finally get it to work with FS24, for the very simple reason all the altitudes are going to be different. So you'll be able to tell who's still 2020 and who's 2024 real easy. Oh, they're facing the wrong way. Hey, we're on this side, guy. Let's see if we can get her to give us the cut sign. Have to do. Let's hit the parking brakes. Now, how's that for interesting scale? Let me get this right. There we go. There we got both of them in the image here. You actually see how big the P40 actually is. It makes the Wildcat look small. Because these two aircraft were built so rugged and so tough. They could last. Well, Colonel Fork, thank you for spending the time while you fixed your dinner and ate with us tonight. Coming along on our little patrol around Iron Bottom Sound. We got lucky. We didn't find any trespassers tonight, which is a good thing. Down here and open the canopy. The funny thing is, he is dressed way too warm for down here at Guadalcanal. He is dressed like he is going into Scotland, not the tropics. And I'm sorry I'm not up in 2024 yet, and probably won't be for quite a while. We are glad you come by and flew with us in 2020. See, it's a reason to not to kill it off. I could almost gain a full terabyte of space back just by bumping 2020 off. But because I don't yet have 2024 working, it's not getting uninstalled just yet. And for now, this is my flight sim. And I'm proud of it. I really like it. Put a lot of money into this thing. Having a lot of fun with it. And continuing to have a lot of fun. But for tonight, that's about it. That's just a quick little around and back. I think next week, after the storms in Europe are finished, calm down for a little bit, we may do some stuff in Europe next week. Maybe some Italian hill surfing or something. Don't know. Thinking about it. And good luck with the Flying Iron aircraft in 2024, Colonel Fork. And let's see who's on. Wrong mouse. There's the mouse I want. Can do is still on. Let's see if we can raid Can Do. As I search through this, looking for his. There's flights with Joel. Come on, let's find Can Do. He should be fairly quick to find. Oh, there's Captain Rash. We'll just go ahead and raid Captain Rash. He's a legend anyway. He's having fun. Well, thank you for coming by and spending time with us on a Sunday night. Have fun and show Captain Rash some love.